year-old boy is just as sexually healthy as a 25-year-old man.
Absolutely.
And a 25-year-old
Look, we're supposed to be tolerant. That's true Thomas Jefferson, liberalism, not just anything and everything goes, because we know a year-old baby shouldn't be having sex with a 50-year-old. Biologically, it's not designed to do that. It is perverse. What we're saying is there are limits. We have to make decisions in this universe, and we're being told by the so-called leftists, no, there are no limits, except we'll arrest you if you read out of the Bible in Canada, these passages. So really, I think it's coming to a crisis point, though. It's gotten so obvious, so ridiculous. The Starbucks program blew up in their face. Everything Michelle Obama pushes is blowing up in their face. I think we're starting to hit bottom here. What do you say?
I think there are 4 winning issues for conservatives. And I know, now, Alex, do you consider yourself a conservative or libertarian? What do you...
I'm a libertarian constitutionalist, pro-human that wants our civilization to survive. But I'm into self-defense. I'm pro-life. So I'm lined up with conservatives on most issues.
Right. And, my problem with the word libertarian is, you've got Glenn Beck, then you've got Bill Maher, and, all of them claim to be libertarian. So the waters have been muddied. So I just say conservative. But most people would consider me more libertarian. I can't remember. There was there are 4 winning issues. I think you're right here with conservatives. Okay. There are 4 issues where leftists have really overreached, and you're seeing some rebound effect. Guns. Even with my generation, and I think call it the video game generation, they want to fire off cool guns. It's a losing issue for liberals. Feminism. Feminism has overreached because you now have a generation of young girls who don't believe that being treated like women is anti-feminist. And then free speech. There's been a real overreach from the left on free speech, where I think you're even getting some rebound on college campuses where kids are rebelling against the political correctness. And I can't remember what the 4th one is. I'd have to get to, Islamic terrorism. Yeah, Islamic terrorism. By the way, when I used to do these videos on YouTube, you can go back on 2008, 2009. Almost all of the comments were, this is Islamophobic, this is hate speech. And I've noticed a turn even on YouTube, a super liberal platform of people going, yeah, okay, this is something we have to get a handle on. It's not the same as other religions out there.
Well, why did the Muslims, and I'm not anti-Muslim, but I'm anti-radical Muslim, why... Like they've even had that David Cross movie came out where at the end the guy goes, I got all this from Alex Jones. Alex Jones, I hate blacks, Jews, and Muslims. What is this thing where the left claims that if you're against radical Islamicists, it's like a form of racism, when the radical Islamicists are sexually mutilating women, enslaving people, killing everybody, and you never hear any feminists criticize them? Why are radical Islamicists such darlings to the left?
Well, it's a good point, and I don't think one can expect feminists to be consistent on anything. I mean, where feminists, they talk about supposed rape culture when men are dragging their tallywhackers into women's locker rooms at Planet Fitness. Where are the feminist anti-rape culturists there? With Islam, you're right. The silence is deafening. I'm not anti-Muslim. I've talked about this, okay? To give you an example, I am a Christian. I'm very honest about it, even as a libertarian, but I personally am a Christian. Not all Christians are perfect, okay? But I believe Jesus was. And I think anybody who's not even a Christian could look to whether they think it's a fable or not of Jesus and say, okay, that's a pretty good example. Not all Muslims are terrorists. Sure, Muhammad was. Muhammad, the prime example, was someone who did kill, who did behead, who did beat his wife, who did call for the deaths of Christians and Jews. So my problem isn't necessarily with all Muslims. But if you look at ISIS and you look at the Muslims who maybe aren't going as extreme as them, you have to say, okay, who is closer to emulating Muhammad? My problem is not with Muslims. My problem was with Muhammad. And that, of course, is hate speech and politically incorrect to say. But I've read the Quran and I've studied Muhammad, and the guy was a terrorist. So let's have an honest conversation about that.
Well, he certainly did conquer the areas around him by the sword, but then people would argue that's what happened in this country. My issue is that they're using radical Islam to basically take our basic rights to protect us, but they're not protecting us. And then radical Islam's getting bigger and more out of control than ever. And it's just a nightmare situation. Shifting gears back into when you got in drag to go into Planet Fitness to illustrate how absurd it is. What do you think's driving Planet Fitness to create such a bizarre environment, and how does that tie into what Starbucks is doing? I mean, it was so surreal to send our cameras into Austin, Starbucks last week, where they were handing out newspaper checklist of, how you're racist and all this stuff. Yeah. I mean, anybody with a brain knows that's going to create racial division. It's not going to create unity.
Yeah, well, I went into Starbucks the very next day, and they said, how do you take your coffee? I said, I take it Ving Rhames. Just to see how they react. Yeah, listen, I mean, it's one of those things. I I won't relent. I won't even give it credence, the politically correct thing, the race thing. Listen, here's the crazy thing too, Alex. I'm substantially younger than you are. I say that not as an affront, just to talk about the generational gap here. And I was raised in Canada, okay? So I was raised in not only a post-racial America, but Canada. I will tell you this. There has never been more racial tension in my lifetime. Now, I wasn't alive, obviously, for the Civil Rights Act. I wasn't alive for the Detroit riots like my father, who was raised in the bad part of Detroit that Eminem tries to claim he's from as the phony that he is. I didn't experience that. So I was raised in a post-racial America. But today, it is worse than ever. Today, I have kids with whom I went to high school who we were friends with now saying that there's an established form of racism and the system is stacked against them. And that's a new thing for these people who I've known my entire life.
Yeah, that's their new identity, is that they've been abused and that something's happened to them, and they're talking to some, Eastern European, I've seen this on the street, who has no history of enslaving black people, and it's just crazy. Final segment straight ahead with Steven Crowder. We're going to get his take on where he thinks all this is going. Did you know Planet Fitness, folks, has alarms in it? If you make any noise and then they send people over to henpeck you?
The human body is extraordinary. Despite all the stresses we inflict upon it, it still works hard to stay in balance. Thousands upon thousands of people rely upon Heart and Body Extract to help their body stay balanced. This excellent 100% natural herbal formula helps maintain healthy blood pressure levels, cleans arteries, promotes good circulation, balances cholesterol, and more. HB Extract, paired with healthy lifestyle choices like good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free of pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of HB Extract. It's extremely effective and it starts working in just days. Visit hbextract.com to learn more and to read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers. And we've never increased our price in over 10 years. That makes Heart and Body Extract as great a value now as it was the first day we sold it. A healthy heart is a happy heart. Call 866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
Friends, this is Alex Jones for MidasResources.com. For more than 15 years, I have exclusively used Midas Resources for all my precious metal needs. Whether it's bullion or collectibles you're looking for, Midas Resources is simply the best. I own my gold as a hedge against inflation. This Federal Reserve fiat currency could go the way of the Deutschmark and the Weimar Republic anytime. In these historically dangerous times, it makes sense to physically hold gold and silver. Midas already has some of the best deals in the industry. But if you give them a call and mention the radio special, they will give you a list of the day's super specials. Midas brokers are standing by to answer all your questions at 800-686-2237. They also have a lot of informative free literature explaining the opportunities and risk of holding precious metals. They are ready to answer your questions at 800-686-2237. Again, that's 800-686-2237.
As the New World Order continues to tighten its grip on every facet of our lives, we're all asking ourselves, how can we maintain our independence? The answer is clear. Get prepared, and you get prepared now. Now the only question left is, where do we begin? My Patriot Supply is here to help. Call 800-247-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. We're even covering the cost of shipping. Are you willing to rely on the government and FEMA in the event of an emergency? Call 800-274-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. You won't be able to find this deal online, and there is a strict limit of 4 per caller, so don't wait. Call now, 800-274-3070. That's 800-274-3070. Call right now.
I'm going to do about 5 minutes overdrive and talk to Doug and 11 Bravo and a few others that have been holding for a long time. Steven Crowder's our guest. We're almost out of time today. Don't forget, we just launched the latest high-quality supplement, InfoWarsLife.com. That's Winter Sun, organic vitamin D3, very strong, very concentrated, and your purchase isn't just great for you and your body and your family, but it helps fund this operation. So I want to thank you all for your support. Winter Sun available right now at InfoWarsLife.com. Please support our local affiliates as well and support their local sponsors and spread the word. LouderWithCrowder.com is his website. Steven Crowder, we got 5 minutes. You've got the floor to give your other points about where you see this society going, what you think about the election, and where you think it's going with this obsession. You think our national domestic products, not even propaganda or military hardware now, but just ninnying about what politically correct group we're in. You ended the last segment talking about people you know who now their whole identity is being in a persecuted group.
Yeah, and I have to be careful, obviously, the way I word that, because these are good people. They're certain. I just think these are people who've been misled. You know, it's funny. I've been writing this book for a while, and I only have 2 books in my lifetime that I want to write. Sorry. And I remember when I pitched it to one publisher, they took it and they said, well, we need it to be more doomsday theory-ish. It's too funny. It's too positive. It offers too many solutions. So to give you an idea, the one chapter in there are 2 kinds of leftists in this country. There are the manipulators, the propellers, right? The James Camerons, the Hillary Clintons, the Barack Obamas, okay? People who I think know better on a lot of issues, but proactively try and manipulate certain people in the public. Now, that's a very small percentage of leftists. I think a majority of people who vote Democrat, who go what we would call liberal, are people who don't know any better, who take the default political position as given to them by culture, by these leftist propellers, the entertainment industry, the media, right? So I think it's important to distinguish between those 2. Because if you're dealing with someone who's proactively lying and manipulating, I think you need to make an example of them. But I think a lot of these people who are going along with what they've been taught their entire lives through public schools, university, and what they hear in the media in Hollywood, those are people whose minds can be changed. And I think that's kind of what you're seeing with Planet Fitness. Listen, I don't think the franchise owner in Midland, Michigan is out there trying to break down the barriers of sexual norms. I don't think so. But I think he's been given a piece of paper saying this is our policy from someone who does want to try and subvert culture, and he has to go along with it because he doesn't know any better. So while I do believe in standing up for what we believe in, and I do believe in being bold, I also think it's important to understand that there are some people out there whose minds can be changed, and they're not necessarily being proactive with the manipulation, and it's important to make that distinguishment.
Sure, there are a lot of liberals out there who really mean well, and they don't realize that they're working for a bizarre cult of control freaks that want to totally enslave this country. I mean, look at the power grabbing going on right now by Obama and the Republican leadership's doing nothing. The internet, the borders, the just everything. I mean, what do you think the next shoe to drop is in the power grab?
Gosh, man, I don't know. The way I see it is if people who are paid to make political predictions all over the news get it wrong about 90% of the time, me in my little home studio here with a bag of potato chips haven't got a shot. So I stay away from the political predictions.
Did you hear about FEMA to deny funds to states that won't accept the global warming religion?
No, I didn't. I don't know.
That's just out today. That's just out today. I'm not kidding.
Well, I'd have to read up on that, Alex. I don't mean to tell you that I don't believe you. I just don't know about it, so I'd hate to give an opinion.
No, I hear you. Did you know that George Bush was photographed with a plunger bombing the World Trade Center?
What?
That's a joke, man.
Okay, all right. I don't know, Alex. This is my first time on the show. You can have me back to talk about.
I want to have you back. Hey, you're doing a great job with the videos. They're really entertaining as well. So I like the fact you're having fun with it. Steven Crowder, LouderWithCrowder.com. Thank you. Infowars.com is our site. Overdrive starts now, but I'm coming back with your calls. Stay with us. See you later, Steven.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
Sold out for weeks due to the difficult and extensive proprietary process behind its creation. The exclusive InfoWars Life Secret 12 formulation is now back in stock. This ultra-clean vitamin B12 nutraceutical has been carefully crafted and developed over the last 2 years and is based on cellular science of how your body actively absorbs essential nutrients. Most forms of vitamin B12 are highly processed and synthetic and could not be properly absorbed by the body. Secret 12 is a binary of nutramedical grade, bioavailable coenzyme forms of B12, methylcobalamin, the same kind used in B12 injections, and adenosylcobalamin, the most bioactive form that has been created with our proprietary process. Secret 12 is taken by mouth, right on the tongue, and then swallowed. No needles, no injections. Don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself. Discover the secret. Secret 12. Supplies of Secret 12 are very limited. Secure yours today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.